Have you ever wondered how a small search engine created in a cramped garage became the most powerful tech empire on Earth? Today, on Brand Rise, we'll uncover the incredible story of Google, from its humble beginnings to a company controlling the flow of information, shaping technology, and influencing global markets. You'll learn about the founders' struggles, their early experiments, billions invested, strategic moves, and the moments that changed everything. By the end of this video, you'll understand how Google went from zero to a trillion-dollar empire. Make sure to subscribe to Brand Rise to follow the most fascinating stories about the rise of the world's biggest brands. The Harvard meeting, where it all began. It all started in 1995 at Harvard University. Larry Page and Sergey Brin met in a graduate-level computer science course. At first glance, they seemed like typical students, passionate, curious, and ambitious. But together, they developed a vision that would redefine the internet forever. Larry Page, born in 1973, grew up in a family of computer scientists. His father, Carl Page, was a pioneer in computer science, and his mother, Gloria, was an instructor in computer programming. Sergey Brin, born in 1973 in Moscow, immigrated to the U.S. with his family at the age of 6, escaping anti-Semitic policies in the Soviet Union. Sergey's father, Michael Brin, was a mathematician, and his mother, Eugenia, a researcher in mathematics and computer science. The duo's shared passion for computers and data analysis brought them together. They were frustrated with the inefficiency of existing search engines, which often produced irrelevant or manipulated results. They asked a simple question: what if we could rank pages not by content alone, but by the web's natural structure, the links connecting pages? Their first project was called Backrub, hosted on Stanford servers. It was revolutionary. Links acted as votes, and pages with more votes were considered more authoritative. This system became the foundation for PageRank, the core of Google's search engine. Garage beginnings, turning vision into reality. By 1996, Backrub was gaining attention. Larry and Sergey needed funding to scale. They rented a small garage in Menlo Park, California, paying $1,700 per month. This garage would become the birthplace of Google as we know it. Early investment came from Andy Bechtolsheim, co-founder of Sun Microsystems, who wrote a check for $100,000. This capital allowed them to buy servers, hire engineers, and refine the algorithm. At this stage, Google was still a tiny operation. Competitors like Yahoo, AltaVista, and Lycos dominated the market. But Larry and Sergey had one advantage: a unique vision and technical innovation that could disrupt the entire industry. The birth of Google. In 1997, Backrub officially became Google, a play on the word Google, representing 1 followed by 100 zeros. The name symbolized the founders' ambition to handle infinite amounts of data. This wasn't just branding, it was a statement of intent. Google aimed to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. By 1998, Google had a working prototype, but monetization was still a challenge. They experimented with banner ads, licensing their search technology, and attracting traffic to their site. The early office was chaotic, often with wires hanging from ceilings, used pizza boxes as whiteboards, and constant brainstorming sessions that stretched late into the night. Early funding and growth. By 1999, Google needed more capital to expand. Venture capital firms Sequoia Capital and Kleiner Perkins invested $25 million. With this funding, Google built infrastructure, hired engineers, and expanded its server capacity. They also focused on refining PageRank, improving search speed, and developing a minimalist interface that would distinguish Google from cluttered competitors. Unlike Yahoo, which focused on portals and categories, Google promised simplicity, speed, and relevance. AdWords and the first revenue streams. In 2000, Google launched AdWords, a self-service advertising platform that allowed businesses to display text ads based on search queries. This was revolutionary because it matched advertisers to users in real time based on intent. Early revenue was modest but scalable. Within a few years, AdWords became the primary revenue stream, setting the stage for Google's massive financial growth. IPO and public recognition. By 2004, Google went public with an IPO at $85 per share, valuing the company at $23 billion. Investors recognized the enormous potential of a company dominating search and building a growing ecosystem. By this time, Google had already developed Gmail, Google Maps, Google Toolbar, and several experimental projects. The company employed over 3,000 people, but its ambition was far larger: to become the world's information authority. Ecosystem expansion: YouTube, Android, and beyond. After the IPO, Google expanded aggressively. YouTube, 2006, $1.65 billion acquisition. Today, the largest video platform on Earth. Android, 2005, purchased for $50 million, now the dominant mobile operating system globally. Gmail, Drive, Docs, Calendar account forming a comprehensive productivity ecosystem. Nest smart devices and IoT, controlling homes and connected technology. By 2010, Google had a distinct advantage: dominance in search and a growing ecosystem that tied users into its products. Artificial intelligence and advanced technologies. Google's AI strategy accelerated with the acquisition of DeepMind in 2014, producing breakthroughs in machine learning, healthcare, and even defeating humans in games like Go. Waymo, the self-driving car project, is revolutionizing transportation. Google Cloud competes with Amazon AWS, powering businesses and governments globally. These projects demonstrate that Google is no longer just a search engine. It's a technological superpower, shaping multiple industries. Global expansion: search beyond borders. After going public in 2004, Google rapidly expanded internationally. By 2005, Google was available in over 100 countries and dozens of languages. Localization was key. Search algorithms were adapted to different cultures, languages, and online behaviors. The company opened offices worldwide, from London to Tokyo to Sydney, creating an international tech workforce of tens of thousands. This global presence not only increased market share, but also diversified revenue streams, making Google less vulnerable to economic downturns in any single region. Advertising empire: AdWords and AdSense. While search remained Google's core, advertising became the lifeblood. AdWords, launched in 2000, matured into a sophisticated auction-based system where advertisers bid for keywords. Soon after, AdSense allowed website owners to monetize their content with targeted ads. This created a network effect. The more people used Google Search, the more advertisers were willing to pay, which funded even more innovation. By 2010, advertising accounted for over 95% of Google's revenue, generating tens of billions annually. The combination of search dominance, user data, and advertiser demand created a virtually unstoppable feedback loop. Strategic acquisitions: building the ecosystem. Google's strategy wasn't just organic growth, it was about buying the future. Key acquisitions include DoubleClick, 2007, 3.1B, expanded display advertising capabilities. YouTube, 2006, 1.65B, the world's largest video platform, now generating over $20 in ad revenue annually. Android, 2005, 50 matters. Acquired before smartphones dominated, now powering billions of devices globally. Waze, 2013, 1.3B. Crowdsourced navigation technology enhancing Google Maps. Nest Labs, 2014, 3.2b, entering the smart home market. Each acquisition wasn't just a product purchase. It was a strategic move to control entire industries, from video to mobile to IoT. The rise of Alphabet. Corporate restructuring. By 2015, Google had grown so large that internal management became increasingly complex. In response, founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin created Alphabet Inc., making Google a subsidiary under a larger umbrella. Alphabet's structure separated core businesses, search, ads, Android, YouTube, from moonshot projects like Calico, longevity research, X development, experimental tech, like self-driving cars, Verily, healthcare data. This allowed Google to innovate without risking the core business, a move that was unprecedented for a tech company of its size. Culture of innovation inside Google. One of Google's secrets is its unique corporate culture. 20% time. Employees could spend 20% of work hours on personal projects, fostering Gmail, AdSense, and Google News. Open collaboration. Offices designed for teamwork, not hierarchy. Whiteboards and shared spaces encouraged ideas to flow freely. Data-driven decisions. Almost every choice, product design, UX tweaks, even cafeteria menus, was guided by analytics. This culture attracted some of the world's brightest engineers and thinkers, cementing Google's reputation as the ultimate innovation hub. Competition and antitrust challenges. Despite its success, Google faced intense scrutiny. Competitors like Microsoft, Bing, Yahoo, and Facebook constantly challenged its dominance. Governments and regulators also began investigating potential monopolistic practices. European Union fines, over $9 billion in multiple cases for antitrust violations between 2017 and 2019. Privacy and data handling, lawsuits and fines for mishandling user data. Search bias allegations, accusations that Google favored its own products in search results. Google's response? Invest heavily in lobbying, legal teams, and compliance, ensuring it maintained influence while expanding globally. Technological leadership, AI and cloud. Google's investment in AI has been transformative. DeepMind achieved milestones like AlphaGo defeating human Go champions. TensorFlow, open-source AI library powering everything from translation to voice recognition. Google Cloud, competing with AWS and Azure, hosting enterprise services worldwide. AI and cloud computing aren't just products. They cement Google as a critical backbone of the global internet, influencing every digital interaction. Financial milestones and market impact. Today, Google Alphabet is worth over $2 trillion, with a market capitalization rivaling the GDP of major countries. Its revenue comes from advertising, 80% cloud services, 10% other bets. 10%. Google's influence is not just financial, it shapes the economy, technology trends, and even geopolitics. Lessons from Google's rise. What can we learn from this story? Start small, think big, from a garage in Menlo Park to a global empire. Innovation wins. Unique algorithms, bold acquisitions, and AI investments secured dominance. Ecosystem control. Owning multiple layers of technology creates resilience. Culture matters. Attracting top talent and fostering creativity drives sustainable growth. Adapt and overcome. Legal, political, and competitive challenges are inevitable. Google navigated them successfully. Conclusion: the legacy of Google. From two graduate students to the architects of a digital empire, Google's journey teaches us that vision, timing, and relentless execution can reshape industries. It's not just a search engine, it's a global powerhouse, influencing how we access information, communicate, and even perceive the world. If you want to follow more incredible brand stories like this, subscribe to Brand Rise and join the journey into the world's most powerful companies. Remember, Google's story isn't finished. Its next chapter will continue to define technology, business, and society for decades to come. Early missteps and learning moments. Despite Google's meteoric rise, the journey was not without mistakes. Early product launches revealed vulnerabilities. Google Wave, 2009, intended to revolutionize communication, it failed due to poor user adoption and complexity. Lessons learned. Even a company with infinite resources must understand user behavior. Google Buzz, 2010, social networking attempt integrated into Gmail, met with privacy backlash, and eventually shut down. Privacy became a core lesson for future products. Google Glass, 2012, ambitious wearable technology ahead of its time. Market was not ready, but the project laid the groundwork for augmented reality initiatives. These failures demonstrated Google's willingness to experiment, absorb criticism, and pivot quickly, traits that differentiate industry leaders from the rest. Privacy, security, and user trust. As Google amassed billions of users, data privacy became a global focus. Governments, journalists, and competitors scrutinized the company for tracking search and location data, collecting personal information through Gmail and Android targeting users, with personalized advertising. Regulatory bodies across Europe, GDPR, and the US pressed Google to comply with strict privacy standards, resulting in billions in fines, but also improved transparency. Google responded with encrypted searches and HTTPS protocols, privacy dashboards for user control, data minimization and anonymization policies. Maintaining user trust was essential, as any breach could significantly impact both reputation and revenue. Dominating mobile, Android revolution. When Google acquired Android in 2005, smartphones were a niche market. Today, Android powers over 3 billion devices worldwide. Google Play Store hosts millions of apps, generating tens of billions annually. Android created a platform for Google services, including Maps, Gmail, YouTube, and Drive. Android's open-source nature allowed OEM partnerships with Samsung, Xiaomi, Huawei, and more, giving Google unmatched market penetration and ecosystem control. The YouTube phenomenon. Acquired for $1.65 billion in 2006, YouTube became a cultural and financial juggernaut. Over 2 billion logged-in monthly users, generates over $20 billion in annual ad revenue. Influences entertainment, politics, education, and culture. YouTube's growth showed Google's ability to identify future markets, invest early, and integrate products into its ecosystem seamlessly. The cloud era, competing with giants. Google Cloud Platform, GCP, launched in 2008, initially overshadowed by AWS and Microsoft Azure. Over time, became a major player in enterprise services, power services like YouTube, Gmail, and Google Maps, competes in AI, data analytics, and machine learning solutions. GCP represents a long-term strategic bet, allowing Google to profit from enterprise adoption and global infrastructure dominance. Alphabet, the moonshots and diversification. Restructuring into Alphabet enabled Google to explore high-risk, high-reward projects. Waymo, autonomous vehicles testing in multiple cities. Verily, life sciences, health data analysis, and wearable technology. Loon, now defunct, balloon-based internet access for remote areas. X, moonshot factory, experimental technology shaping the future. This diversified portfolio reduces risk, allows for innovation without threatening core revenue, and positions Alphabet for decades-long dominance. Financial mastery, IPO and Beyond Google went public on August 19, 2004, with an IPO price of $85 per share. Immediate results: raised $1.67 billion, valuing the company at $23 billion, attracted visionary investors who believed in long-term dominance. Since then, Alphabet now trades above $2 trillion market capitalization. Revenue streams include ads, cloud services, hardware, and moonshots. Google's financial model is self-reinforcing. Data, better ads, more revenue, more innovation. Investors are not just betting on products. They are betting on a system capable of creating industries, competition, legal battles, and antitrust scrutiny. Google's dominance drew attention from governments. EU fines, over $8.2 billion in various antitrust cases. US lawsuits, ongoing investigations into monopolistic practices, privacy debates. Across the globe, users demanded transparency. Despite this, Google's financial reserves, lobbying, and influence allowed it to navigate regulatory storms, keeping innovation and market share intact. Innovation. The heart of Google innovation drives every part of Google. AI research through DeepMind and TensorFlow hardware, like Pixel phones, Nest, and Chromebooks, autonomous systems for cars, drones, and logistics. Every project, successful or failed, contributes to a culture of experimentation and continuous improvement. Cultural phenomenon. More than a company, Google has become synonymous with search itself. Its influence extends to daily lives of billions of people, education, research, and knowledge dissemination, global culture through YouTube, Maps, and Gmail, corporate perks, free meals, gyms, creative spaces, reflect a philosophy. Happy employees innovate more. Lessons for entrepreneurs and innovators. Google teaches us, start with a problem, not a product. Solve real-world issues, search, organization, communication. Think long-term. Investments in AI, cloud, and moonshots pay off decades later. Culture matters. Empower employees to explore, fail, and learn. Ecosystem dominance. Owning multiple layers of technology creates stability and growth. Adaptability is key. Legal, competitive, and societal challenges are inevitable. Plan for them. Conclusion: legacy and future. From a dorm room in 1996 to a $2 trillion empire, Google's journey is a testament to vision, resilience, and relentless innovation. Its impact on technology, business, and society is immeasurable, and the company continues to shape the future of AI, cloud computing, and global digital infrastructure. If you want to discover more fascinating brand histories and learn how iconic companies conquered the world, subscribe to Brand Rise now and join our journey into the stories behind the biggest names in business. Google's story is far from over. The next decade may redefine everything again, and those who understand its methods will be best positioned to thrive.